Guys, that's your commander today, Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Glad to have you joining me, taking a little bit of time out of your day to talk about, well, one of the truly best champions inside the entire game. Everybody can get her eventually from champion fragments that you collect from Hydra clan boss, and she is just one of, again, if not the best champion in the game, she's one of the most versatile champions. She's great everywhere. She's really great everywhere in the game. In today's video, we'll talk about why. We're also going to go ahead and run her in Hydra, and I'm going to show you how I have her built out. A lot to get to. We have the lore for MITHRALA LIFEBANE, which is pretty lengthy as well, which I will read to you guys while we're starting our Hydra clan battle. Before all of that, we're going to go ahead and give a shout out to Nicholas. Can you please make one for MITHRALA LIFEBANE for Hydra team? Absolutely. And Nicholas, again, saying your videos help me out a lot. Gary, my champions, can you make one for MITHRALA LIFEBANE for Hydra? Absolutely, we can. Why is MITHRALA LIFEBANE so incredible, guys? Well, number one, she's up there in her wingspan. She's got a great wingspan. Aesthetically, very, very cool looking champion. Really cool looking champion. She got the Medusa motif going on here, and she's a dark elf, void affinity, so there's no need to worry about negative affinity matchups. And by the way, I released an affinity guide about 5 days ago from the time of this recording on my other channel, Raid Shadow Legends. Just search Raid Affinity Guide, and it should be the first thing that comes up on YouTube if you want to know all the reasons that affinity matters in Raid. So what does she do? What doesn't she do? First, let's look at her base stats. 20k on the base HP, 1354 on the base defense, and 109 on the base speed. Very, very good on those base stats. Very fast, enough defense, and certainly enough HP as well. On her A1, Libation of Pain attacks 2 times at random. Each hit, 100% chance of placing the big version of poison for 2 turns. Defense-based damage dealer here. On the A2, Sigil of Toxic Glory. On a 3-turn cooldown when booked, and nicely, the books go right down to the cooldown here. Attacks all enemies, and on the A3, same thing, right? This is how every champion should be. Am I right? Attacks all enemies. Places a Hex debuff for 2 turns. Also places an increased defense and an increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. This is a very, very good ability, especially after they buffed Hex. Let's talk briefly about why, or what Hex does now that they buffed it, excuse me. Let's read this, hellhades.com. Secondly, enemies under Hex will now receive damage based on damage dealt to another enemy. For single target attacks, Hex targets receive 10% of the HP removed. Therefore, does not work with shield and will not reduce excess damage beyond remaining HP. For AoE attacks, Hex targets receive 2% of the HP removed. So listen, especially in Hydra, this really does add a lot of extra damage throughout the duration of a longer battle. Not to mention, Hex interacts with other champions like Rule as well. Knight's Revenant legendary champion who has a bunch of Hex synergy on his passive, as well as a champion like Thea the Tomb Angel who has a very hard-hitting A2 that gets even harder hitting, up to 300% extra damage for every Hex on the enemy team. So every time they release a new Hex champion, MITHRALA or any Hex placer, it gets a little bit more valuable, okay? On the A3, not to mention increased attack and increased defense and the Hex and the AoE, all on a 3-turn cooldown, very good ability. Brimming Silex, or A3, again a 3-turn cooldown. It's a full cleanse, and then the big version of Strengthen on all allies, and then a shield, 30% of this champion's max HP. So we get a great shield, we get a full cleanse, and we get the big version of Strengthen. That means she's bringing the big version of Strengthen, a cleanse and a shield, and the big version of increased defense and increased attack, all on 3-turn cooldowns. Very, very, very exceptionally powerful. Gaze of Stone, or passive. Whenever this champion is attacked by an enemy under Hex, has a 50% chance of applying a petrification debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. What does petrification do? Well, whenever an ally is attacked by an enemy under a Hex debuff, has a 30% chance of applying a petrification debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. She's the only champion in the game that has petrification in her kit. Petrification is the best CC debuff, even better than stun out there in the game, albeit very limited. Again, it's only active on her passive at the time of this recording. Petrification debuff, when targeted against a champion, will remove all buffs from that champion, then will block any other buffs from being applied to that champion under petrification. And this effectively is, this is effectively a cleanse and block buffs in 1 debuff. In addition, Champions under petrification will skip their turns, will not have any of the cooldowns of their skills reduce while the debuff is active, and the champion, however, will take 60% less damage except for bomb debuffs. This champion will instead take 300% more damage from bombs. Quite a powerful debuff with significant counter because of the bomb dynamic. So, I mean, they're going to be removing all their buffs, they're going to be losing their entire turn, and getting essentially block buffs all in that one debuff. It's very, very powerful, especially this passive in the arena, okay? You can really neutralize and block buffs on a champion on the enemy team. But there's more. Also increases this champion's resistance. The amount of which the resistance is increased is equal to the amount of accuracy this champion has. That's insanely powerful. If we can load her up with accuracy, not only is it going to help us land, sure, our poisons and our hex on that A2, but it's also going to be equal to, an added amount of resistance on this champion. It's good for PvE. It's great for PvP. It's very tough to debuff against MITHRALA. If you see her in the arena, you should be aware of that factor because, again, she's probably going to be loaded up with accuracy and going to have very high, we're talking 7, 8, 900 or more on the resist on this champion. She's also got accuracy in all battles by 80. This is a very good accuracy aura applied to all battles. You can see why now she is one of the best out there inside the entire game. We talked about Hex, we talked about Petrification, we talked about everything that she's bringing to the table, which is just absolutely enormous. So let me go ahead and show you how I have her geared out here. We'll talk a little bit about blessings and masteries on this champion. So I think I have her recently used. I do. Here she is. So here is MITHRALA. You can see that I have her in a triple perception set. I love her in triple perception, guys. I really do. You can use accuracy as well, right? We care about accuracy tremendously on this champion. We also care about speed on this champion. We also care about HP on this champion because the shield is based on her HP. So again, triple perception works great because the accuracy is equal to the same as resist. So think of it, every perception set on this champion or every accuracy set on this champion, think of it as plus 40 accuracy, plus 5% speed, plus 40 resist as well. That's incredible. That's why I love perception. We're looking for accuracy substats, and we're looking for speed and HP, right? We don't have a lot of HP as much as I like on this champion. We do have crit rate, because I wanted to get a little bit of extra damage out of her as well. We have accuracy on the chest. Now, I'm using this because I primarily use her. I do use her in Hydra, but I also primarily use her in Arena, right? In an Arena, I just want to have her high as resist as humanly possible. So we have a decision to make here, don't we? We can go with HP and get a nice beefier, girthier shield, or we can go with accuracy because, again, at the risk of belaboring the point here, this is the same as accuracy plus 96 in resist plus 96 because of that amazing passive, right? And then on the boots here, we have speed. On the banner, we have accuracy, I'm sure, right? But again, an alternative would be going with accuracy, or excuse me, going with HP on the banner. But in this case, we do have accuracy. We have HP on the amulet, trying to get a little bit of HP there out of this champion, and HP again with a really, really nice trip roll on HP percentage on the ring. So this is kind of an end game, obviously, layout on this champion, but it doesn't change the priorities for you guys. Again, we want her to be going fast because she's so good. The more turns, the merrier, right? Also, you can run her in Relentless set. You can put her in Relentless and potentially get that increased attack and increased defense and the cleanse and the shield and everything else, right? Potentially, we can reduce the cooldown there and have those debuffs or buffs up more often as well, okay? So if I wasn't going to go with triple perception, I would go Relentless on this champion personally. Those would be, to me, the two best choices for MITHRALA Lifebane. Now, you saw the options that I made along the way as well in terms of accuracy on the banner and chest, but those can be interchanged, especially if you're relying her mainly in dungeons or in Doom Tower, bosses and stuff like that. Then I would probably change to HP percentage on the chest. In terms of skills here, we have a 4-star MITHRALA LIFEBANE. I use her as my Brimstone champion and clan boss, okay? So we have a 60% chance of placing a protected smite. Obviously, she has all the accuracy in the world anyway. We're totally good there. So I like Brimstone on this champion. If I was going to go for something else on her, you could definitely go for Polymorph if you're using her inside Live Arena or Classic Arena, or if any of you play Tag Team Arena, right? Nothing wrong there. We could also go with Intimidating Presence. It's a great champion to strengthen your aura and also the enemy team's aura weakened as well. So those would be my personal favorite options for MITHRALA LIFEBANE, but a few others probably make sense on her as well. In terms of masteries on this champion, well, again, you can see in this build that I'm showing you guys here, I went all out in accuracy. So I went down and I picked up Eagle Eye. I picked up all the accuracy masteries, right? Charge, focus, pinpoint, accuracy, swarm, smiter. And then I came down and I picked up Lore of Steel. That does apply, of course, to perception artifacts as well. So works out beautifully. And then I came down here and I went and I grabbed lasting gifts because, as I mentioned earlier, I really want to have a chance at extending the duration of the increased attack and increased defense on that A2 ability in particular. I also picked up Shield Bearer. The support tree is a must-have on MITHRALA LIFEBANE, as you guys can see, right? Increase the value of shield buffs as champion cast by 5%. Fantastic. Now, if you want to, you can still go support tree, not go for the Eagle Eye. You might already have enough resistance and accuracy on this champion. You might not use her a lot in the arena, and you can go on the offense tree, just come down the left-hand side and basically pick up War Master for a little bit extra damage out of this champion as well. Keep in mind, we're getting damage out of the Hex anyway, the damage out of the AoE on this champion, so she can actually put out a sneaky amount of damage as well. We went defense tree here. We came down and grabbed Defiant. We came down and grabbed Improved Parry. Again, this is an arena specific, but it's obviously going to help us everywhere, right? We have Harvest Despair. Keep in mind, important point here, has a 60% chance of placing a Leech debuff for 1 turn when placing a Petrification. Getting a little bit of healage there as well because Petrification was added to the Harvest Despair mastery. Last but not least, I love Cycle of Revenge. I think it's incredibly powerful. 50% chance of increasing the turn meter by 15% when an ally is attacked with a critical hit. So again, just keep her churning, keep her going because she's so good. We just want her, we want that turn meter increasing as much as humanly possible. I guess to that end, if you don't want the extra damage, if you don't want to go War Master, you can pick up Timely Intervention with this champion if you wanted to. She's not a reviver. This is a mastery we specifically mostly see on revivers, but it's not bad. Increases champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally hero drops below 25%. Why is that useful? Because even though she's not a reviver, she's still bringing a great shield. She's bringing a cleanse, which can be incredibly useful in times of need as well, right? So an incredible damage dealer, support champion, control champion, all into one. Whew! MITHRALA LIFEBANE. There's a lot to talk about here, guys, right? Let's go ahead and, you know what? Shame on me. Even though I have her +1, I totally forgot who her empowerment champion is. Is it Vizix, I think? Is it Vizix? Let's see if we have her available and we'll check. Yep, we do. No, it's Blind Seer. So Blind Seer is going to be her empowerment champion. So keep in mind, if you have a Blind Seer just kind of guarding the vault, maybe you don't use her anymore, you never did, even though she's a good champion in her own right, she is the empowerment option. And you know what? Are they both faction? Yeah, they're both faction guardians. I would love a +2 MITHRALA, but I have to kind of shimmy things around if I was going to do that. So keep that in mind on Blind Seer. Okay, let's go ahead and show you. I want to show you Hydra Clan Boss, but before we do that, well, I was going to show you Doom Tower Secret Room, but I think Hydra's going to be fine. You know, I'll shoot. I'm very indecisive today, guys. Just come with me for the journey. Secret Room 11. So we're going to run MITHRALA in the lead. Let's put Ethos in there for some nukes. Let's put Bellower in there for some debuffs. Yakarl is good. And then, you know what? Let's put in Lydia as well. That's a pretty good squad. We don't have a Reviver in there. As much as I love Bellower, I think I'm going to remove Bellower and we're going to put in Godseeker and Neri. Okay? Let's go ahead and see what we can do here. And this is going to give us a better idea, you know, than Hydra. Maybe not, maybe not. Maybe Hydra will be beneficial to watch her for a little bit as well. But here she goes. She's going to go in, increase attack, increase defense on everybody, Hex on all the enemies. Brimstone landed on Bellinor as well. We have the CC on the freeze there from Mr. Yakarl on the squad. And, you know, I mean, geez. This team is Pretty nasty, huh? Pretty nasty. And the beautiful thing here is that, like, you know, with your Carl's freeze and with her petrification because of this, the Hex synergy, keep in mind it's a 30% chance of landing that petrification. And as long as they're under Hex, anytime they attack an ally, you know, as well as a 50% under her. So it's a great ability here. And let's see what she does. She's going to come with the A2. No, I'm the A3 next, I believe. Look at this. She was the only resist there. She's resisting everything, because she has like a 950 resistance, because we have around 750 accuracy on her, plus the resistance that she has anyway, right? You add it up together, she's going to resist everything. And what is one of the most important stats to have, or immunity set or something, so the consideration for a cleanser on your team? What's the last thing you want to have happen to a cleanser? You don't want them to get CC'd, right? Because they need to be un-CC'd, they can't be stunned, so they can cleanse the stun or whatever it is off everybody else on the team. That's another reason why that passive is so incredible on this champion. So you guys, you've seen enough, right? I'm going to come to you at the end of this wave, and then we'll jump into Hydra. Be right back. All right, guys, here we go. Torment is almost down. Let's go. Who do you guys got? Ethos going to put out an absolute boatload of damage, huh, guys? Ethos 1.1, your Carl not bad, 643, Lydia 301, MITHRALA 452, not too bad at all, right, from this champion. And again, you know, 90% of what she's bringing to the table is not going to show up on the stat sheet here when all's said and done. So Secret Room 11 on Doom Tower Hard is done. Let's go ahead and jump into some Hydra clan boss. Now, I have MITHRALA on my second best team. She could easily slot into my first best team, but you have to cover all the essential roles. So I'm going to use my first best team for Nightmare later on. And we're going to actually use the same team exactly as Harrier does. Harrier, change your name, dude. So I use the exact same team that he uses on my main team. And then on Brutal, I use this squad here. So let me go ahead and show you. Not this squad. This is my squad. I don't know. I was just messing around with that team. Here it is. So we use super pay-to-win team, obviously, but I'm just going to show you my real squad, right? We get a Duchess. We got a Krisk. We get a Venus Cupidus, MITHRALA, and Lady Kimmy on the team. So I'm going to go ahead and see how we do here. Again, I love Relentless. If I was just using MITHRALA Lifebane in Hydra, I would have put an HP percentage on her chest, HP on the banner, as we spoke about, and I would also put her in Relentless gear. If I want an all-around and arena OP, build on her, I would go with the triple perception as I have. So let's see how this squad does, guys. I really like this team. I'll come back to you throughout the battle, but I guess just to watch things here, you can see Krisk is our provoker here, so landing his provoke there, but they are going to get the cleanse on the Head of Decay on the next turn. I only have one provoker on this team. I think I need to put... I don't want to ruin the video, but I have a video coming up on the main channel talking about my secret provoke strategy off one champion. So that will be coming up, and he'll probably be replacing Krisk on this team, but I will save that for the next one. If I had Krisk fast enough, he could probably get in there, but certainly not the case here. So, guys, again, you can see really nice to have her on a team like this, because we don't have... and we need someone to help cleanse off these true fears, essentially. We do have a Veil champion on the team. We don't have like an Inquisitor or a Tuwana on this particular team. So it's really nice to have that cleanse in there as well. So let's see what she does here. Does she have the A2 up? You can see I have Relentless on pretty much everybody except for her on this team right now. That's why I said if I was just going to run her here. But look at that. I mean, a very timely shield. Again, the strengthen, the shield, the increased defense, the increased attack, she brings so much. She really does serve, this is why MITHRALA is so good. I mean, just one of the many reasons. She really does serve the role of like 2.5, maybe 3 champions on one particular team. Guys, let's go ahead and do the good old lore while she goes in the background. So here we go, MITHRALA Lifebane champion lore. Few of those with the courage to gaze on MITHRALA Lifebane's twisted countenance realize she was once a fair child of the elven people. I didn't even know that. She was an elf. Indeed, little of elven beauty remains beneath the scaled skin or in the amber eyes that burn with malice. Where once golden hair cascaded down her shoulders, a host of venomous snakes now dwells, their hissing ever echoing MITHRALA's voice. Hers is a cautionary tale against vices that far too many fail to heed. It all began in the joyful days of the Great Schism. Teleria was younger then, and the predations of Siroth seemed to have been thwarted forever. But many threats and mysteries still lingered in the world. A bright young sorceress by the name of MITHRALA dreamed of becoming a legend among her peers. She had always felt a strong affinity with beasts in whose veins magic flowed, and dedicated much of her research to studying those creatures and learning their strengths. As time went on, MITHRALA became obsessed with ancient monstrosities. She scoured the legends about Siroth's attempt to create life to spite Lumia, and though the children molded by the Dark One were vile and terrible, none could deny their power. MITHRALA desired to know how that primal might could be harnessed and used to enhance frail mortal bodies to cultivate a perfect being, unburdened by weaknesses. All of those beasts she researched, there was one that captivated her mind, an ancient serpent abomination known to Teleria as the Hydra. According to folklore, the Hydra once dwelled in a great temple the lizard men had built to honor her. No one knows exactly what happened next. Some claim the lizard men rebelled against the deity when her avarice and cruelty grew too much to bear. Other accounts speak of a great battle that shattered the island upon which the temple was built and sank in beneath the waves of the Sea of Serpent. MITHRALA had dedicated decades of her life to finding the temple and spent every copper she had on countless expeditions that turned up nothing. She had almost lost all hope when a vision came to her at night and guided her alone to a patch of rocky cliffs that jutted out amid the rolling waves. Mesmerized, the sorceress beheld the crumbling walls of the once great temple and listened to the ominous whispers that called her inside. There, she came to face with the creature she had sought for so long. But rather than devour the foolish mortal, the Hydra recognized MITHRALA's potential. She shared her venom and her power, transforming MITHRALA in her image, a herald of a sinister demigod's will. But while MITHRALA sought to transcend mortal weaknesses, she instead became a prisoner, bound to the Hydra and forced to obey her every whim for eternity. Now she seeks her freedom, plotting in secret and bidding her time to strike. Well, there we go, guys. MITHRALA obviously introduced as the champion that we get from a Hydra clan boss. Here we are, 21 million damage in 39 turns. I love that ratio. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this result no matter how we fare. But very cool story in terms of the lore behind MITHRALA Lifebane. I must admit, I have never read that before. I never pre-read this lore, and it's a cool story, right? I didn't even realize she was an elf, as I mentioned, back in the day. I didn't realize that the lizard men, had the temple to the Hydra, nor that it was an island that was submerged under the water and stuff like that. So it does kind of lend itself to the lore, I'm saying, to how we unlock this champion, right? Through the Hydra clan boss in kind of this underwater temple. So really, really cool there. I'll come back to you guys at the end of this run and we'll see what we can do. Be right back. All right, guys, just checking in here with you because I missed you. I missed you. You didn't miss me because it's only been like 2 seconds, but for me, it's been a while. The team's going well. 83 boss turns. We have... It strikes me, though, that we do have a few champions with brimstones, so we can kind of change that around as well. But 46 million damage in 83 turns, definitely looking really, really good here. My aim is around 130 or so million damage. That's kind of where I want to be. We'll see if we can get there, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, guys, we lost him. We lost our DPS. Unfortunately, Cupidus got eaten. But we're going to keep the result either way, and we're just going to let it run its course. So we have it on auto. Just see what we can do. All right, guys, so things are wrapping up here. Not too great, but not too bad. It's really not too great considering how the OP-ness, I hope I don't get demonetized, the OP-ness of the team We want a lot more damage than this. However, it's enough to keep it because we're going to go ahead and kill the Hydra clan boss nonetheless. But let's just go ahead and end it here, guys, and see how much damage everybody did after this one. You know what? Let's let it get to 87 mil. No, it's not going to get there. Okay, let's end it. Let's end the battle and take a look-see here. All right, so we had Duchess 1.7 million, Mithrala almost 10 million, same as Krisk, not too bad. Venus with 24, Cupidus 31, Lady Kimmy with 6.7. We're going to go ahead and keep that result. Let's see how we do. How many of my clanmates beat me on brutal difficulty? Let's go ahead and find out. But I'd say this has been a... Nothing like patting myself on the back, but I think this has been a good video, Ash. Been a good video. Hopefully I articulated just how good... Oh, we finished number 1. We beat Harrier. That's all that matters, man. Just how good MITHRALA LIFEBANE is. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Keep the champion guide requests coming in the comments below. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.